beautiful soul, and welcome. This is Rochelle with the Healing Rose, and today I'm taking a look at my spring decks that I want to work with. So the first one is Heavenly Bloom Tarot by Noel. And this is absolutely gorgeous and lovely. So we have this beautiful pink rosy gilding, which I absolutely love. There is this gorgeous, lovely, soft, flowing, fresh. This deck just feels fresh and beautiful, and I'm so in love with this Five of Wands. It is absolutely fabulous. I'm so in love with the queens and the kings in this deck. The kings are like the most lovely, fierce energy. The whole thing is absolute. Look at that king. That is the most gorgeous, lovely, strong, fierce energy. I'm loving everything about this deck. And so when I first opened it, the gilding actually made me immediately think like a lovely, perfect pairing for this would be the Astral Realms Crystal Oracle from Dark Moon Crystals and Prism and Fleur Design Studios. And it has this lovely pink, rosy copper gilding on it. And it's got this beautiful iridescent, kind of pearlescent finish to it. It's got this lovely kind of sheen. It's absolutely lovely and fresh and light feeling. So it gives me that real kind of spring vibe. It also has, we have crystals. We have our title or keyword, we have our number, and then we have the, I guess, astral realm aspect. So we have Palace, we have Uranus, we have third eye chakra, we have Saturn, we have Pluto, we have air element, we have soul star chakra, Regulus star, we have the moon, we have the earth, earth element, fire element. So we have all these different energies within here. I find I really rely on the book. So although these are a perfect pairing, which is great. So if I want to sit and I want a focal point for the reading, I can draw a card from here. Here's the focus card. Let's draw the tarot and see how they go. And the two decks are stunning beside each other. They work beautifully. I've already played around with them in this last week, the first week of April, when I meant to film this and then I didn't. Now, I kind of started thinking, okay, you know, if I'm out and this is the only deck that is in my bag and someone says, hey, can I get a reading? Would I have to say, okay, well, you're going to have to call me and arrange a time? Or can I go, yes, let me give you a reading and draw the deck out and read with it? And my answer right now is no, I couldn't. I'm really stuck in the book. I don't know if I could actually do a full reading with this deck, or is it always just going to be a sidekick to a tarot deck? I don't know. So that made me start to really look at the rest of my oracle collection. So I'm kind of examining everything with that sort of eye, right? I thought, what a really interesting way to kind of start feeling into the energy of a deck. So this has only been in my house for like an hour now. Just picked it up. This was the other part of the present from my husband, the Practical Magic Oracle for Everyday Enchantment by Serene Keneally and Selena Fennick or Fenich. And it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. It's got this beautiful, oh, I love this so much. It's got this beautiful fairy tale quality to it. Lovely, kind of magical, really sort of like there's a lot of this kind of like elemental, earthy, outdoor, forest, like seasons in the forest kind of vibe for me. So I'm really excited to work with it, and it's brand new, so I know I'm working with it for spring, even though maybe necessarily it doesn't have a spring feeling to it. it's in the mix because it's just arrived. So I sat down, I opened it and filmed it. So I filmed the unboxing, and then I sat down to film this. So I haven't even looked at it for more than 10 minutes, really. So it's definitely in the rotation for the month. So when I think about, is there a deck that I could just sit and just read with as an oracle deck? If it's the only thing in my bag, could I read with it? And my go-to for the last couple of years for myself for personal readings has been Work Your Light. So if I just need to sit down and I need to do like a full spread of something, that's the deck I grab. So I decided I needed to shift because originally I was using the Starseed Oracle for that, which I love. It's got these beautiful soft backs. So these colors really kind of make me feel into that spring vibe. It's got this beautiful cool water flow to it. It doesn't feel like a warm sunny beach, but it feels like cool, really lovely flowing. We've got all this space energy to it. We've got all this elemental energy. We've got these like that sort of nebula cosmos fabulousness that's happening in this whole entire deck. And this is a deck I absolutely can sit and do an entire reading with. And I've read often for many people. And for the first while, this was the deck that I used like all the time. And then one day I started working with the Work Your Light. And I was kind of going back and forth between the two. And then that other deck just became my dominant deck. But I'm kind of feeling like lately I've done a couple of reads for myself with it. And this is really kind of feeling like there's some different quality to the information that I'm receiving with it. It just really feels like I feel like now's the time for this deck. So it's got this kind of like lovely spring light energy to it. So this is going to be and this definitely answers the question, you know, if this is the only deck in my bag, absolutely ask me any question you want. We can sit and do a reading. Okay, so there's those, right? And those are my main sort of focus ones I want to lean into a little bit more, learn the deck a little bit more, see how it feels, the astral realms and the practical magic. I kind of want to see what's going on there because I'm okay with an oracle deck just being a sidekick deck and just being one I use for 1 card or 3 card draw. I do want to feel comfortable enough with the decks that I don't feel a need to refer back to the guidebook. So now, thinking about guidebooks, where are we at with guidebooks, right? Here's my conundrum now. So I have these 2 decks that I am trying to decide what I am going to do with these. Which one do I want to study with? I have the Enchanted Map and I have the Mystical Shaman Oracle. Both of them are Colette Baron Reed. And if you're interested in oracles, you've probably heard her name. You may even most likely have at least one of her decks. She's quite a prolific creator of decks. I have several of hers. I've got the Wisdom of the Oracle. I've got the Shaman's Dream. I have Mystical Shaman. I've got the Enchanted Map. I have Spirit Animal Oracle. I've got the mini edition of that as well, the little pocket edition that came out. I feel like there's a few others somewhere lurking around on a shelf that it's just not springing to mind right away, but I don't have her. I think out of all of her decks, I do not have the Goddess Oracle, and what's this other one that's over here? Yeah, Oracle of the 7 Energies, which again is very similar situation to what's going on here. Oh, I wonder, no. Let's stay focused. Stay focused. On task. So this one, as you can tell, I have used the daylights out of this guidebook. I've had this probably since 2012, I think, is when I got this. Yeah, easily has to be back in 2012. And it did have the big brown borders on it. And I trimmed because I couldn't, they were just, it was so brown, and it just, every time I'd look at it, I'm like, oh, the artwork's beautiful, but there's so much brown when I lay it out, and it's like a brown that was not, there's, I don't know, it just was not, I was not feeling it, right? So we have Enchanted Map, which is lovely. It gives great readings. When I read with this, it's awesome, but I constantly have to go back into the book. I mostly just used it for reading for myself, for friends and family. I think maybe once or twice I've used it for clients where I'm just drawing a few cards and not doing a full reading. I'm just kind of, you know, using it a little bit more intuitively. I feel like I really want to spend the time to get out of the guidebook, because some of the cards are less intuitively obvious, maybe is the word, than others, right? So it's lovely. The artwork's beautiful. So it's Jenna Della Grataglia is the artist. She's quite the prolific artist in the Oracle community, so I'm sure you've seen her work. It's lovely, but I'm stuck having to, I feel like I have to rely on the book, and I've had it for a long time. I feel like I should be able to get away from the book. But there's something about it where I'm just not 100% confident, maybe, when I read with it. Like, I'm just feeling there's a slight disconnect, okay? And I feel that way with Wisdom of the Oracle, and I feel that way with Oracle of the Seven Energies, and I kind of feel that way with, I mean, I feel that way for sure with Mystical Shaman, right? So I'm wondering, is it me and how I learn? I'm so curious if you have one or more of Colette's decks. What is your sense of it? How did you find the learning curve with the deck? Did it resonate with you in a way where you just immediately, intuitively, you opened up the deck and started going through it and felt comfortable reading quite quickly after going through the guidebook and, you know, kind of familiarizing yourself with it? How intuitively did it connect with you? I'm so absolutely curious. Ooh, I love this card. Every time I look at it, I'm like, ooh. I probably say it out loud every single time I draw it out. It always strikes me so strongly. There's something so lush about this deck. I'm so strongly drawn to it. And I've had this for quite a while. And it was one that I really wanted. And at the time when I got it, it was one of those things where I saved up for it because it was quite the luxury item for me to purchase. So it was quite a coveted luxury item when I purchased this for myself. It's so like, oh, it's so lovely. Everything about it is just, I love it. I can't even tell you. I love this, the deep kind of indigo tones that are in here, and the really rich chocolatey burnt umber kind of tones, and some of them have this really lovely deep turquoise and teal to it. Everything about this is just like phenomenal. I love this deck, right? But then I had it, and it's in the box set, and the set is beautiful, and it's got this gorgeous little white box that it comes in. And then you open the box, and there's this lovely book. Everything is so white. And we've got this little lovely little box, and it's got this really gorgeous teal ribbon in it. Everything's lovely, right? There's no problem with it being beautiful. And so, you know, I like to keep things all together. So I have it in its packaging, and it's on the shelf. And then if I want to read with it, it's like, okay, I got to take it out. I've got to open up all the packaging. I've got to take the deck out. I've got to take the book out, put everything back. I need like a lot of space. It's kind of a process. And so I wasn't reaching for it all the time. And then I thought, well, maybe if it comes with me, maybe you know, that will work. But then I don't want to take the book and have it get wrecked because it is a soft cover. And we didn't get just a guidebook that goes in the box. So I can't just take the box. There's no portable edition. So I couldn't just take a box and tuck it in my bag and go. Or like with this, I can take the guidebook, stick it in a pouch, and away we go, right? Easy peasy. I can take it with me on the go. You know, I've got kids in all sorts of different activities and dance classes, and we're going to Taekwondo, and we're going to Aikido, and we're doing all these things all the time. I'm always on the go. I worked evenings, you know, so that someone was always home with the kids. My husband worked days and I worked nights, and we were back and forth. And so it never traveled with me, because it's beautiful and it's white and it's pristine and I don't want to destroy it. And because it was such a precious, expensive purchase for me at the time, right? So when I'm looking at it, you know, so I never really kind of spent the time getting to know it, right? And then we've moved and my situation's a little different now, right? My kids are grown. And so I have this time, and I have a dedicated reading space. So that's lovely. And I can sit with it. And so it still sat on the shelf. So I finally took it out of the box, and in a very kind of intentional way, you know, took this out, took the book out, sat them so that they're out on the shelf so I could use them. But then still they're on different shelves. This is up where my decks are. This is down where the guidebooks go. So then I was like, okay, it needs to make it over to my reading table. Like right beside my table, I have a little stack. I have this little table, and I have a little tiny table beside it, and I have a couple decks on it, the ones that I'm working with. So then I took these and I put them on the deck, or stacked the deck right on the table here. Then I had to take the step for myself of actually taking it out of the box. And I have this sitting on the box now, on top of the book. So they're right there on the table. So when I go to reach for a deck, it's already out of the box. I don't have to do anything but pick it up and start using it. And that's actually made me start using it. And it's gorgeous. I love it so much. Like, I love this deck. So my conundrum here is, do I try to just get complete with this, because I feel like I'm so close to almost being there. I'm almost at that comfort confidence level where I can actually ditch the book and just, you know, have it in my reading toolkit as a reader, right? As someone that reads professionally for other people and gets paid for it. Or do I lean into this, which I absolutely love, and was this like huge luxury purchase for me at the time in which I purchased it? Do I take this and then just spend that time with it and really get to know it? I kind of feel like I've made the decision to just use this. And I do feel like I actually, and I've been quite intentional about it, I do feel like I want to do something to edge this deck, but I don't know what color I want to use. I don't know what, I haven't quite felt into what feels like it's going to be the right thing. I almost feel like I want to do a bronze, actually, because I do love doing a bit of modifying with the decks. I did a lovely bronzy edging with this one, and I almost feel like this color might, is it too much? It's got that bit of red in it where I feel that might really work. I don't know. Maybe. I feel like this color might look great. I'm not 100%, right? So this is my Shaman's Dream Oracle, which also has not had as much use as it probably could have. And, you know, I don't know. Is it just me? Am I the only one that feels this way when having to work with Colette's decks? I'm so curious what your thoughts are, and I'm so curious what your experience has been. So if you're still here and you've sat through my musings on how these decks function, you know. And she has been so intentional and gone so in depth with the creation of these. They really are fabulous. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm so curious if you had any kind of tricks that you used to really learn the deck in depth, to really, you know, bring it where it's like, I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is. You know, it's like to really like bring it into your body, to really bring it so that you're fully connected into your intuition when you're using the deck, and you can really sense into all the nuances there. I feel like there's a lot here. And I know this one just because I've only really just started using it now. I've done maybe, I've used it for maybe like 10 readings, I think, since I purchased it, which was a while ago. So because it just has not had, I've not had the time to devote to it, right? So now I'm wanting to be super intentional. So I'm so curious if you've had any kind of a similar experience with any of Colette's decks. I would love to know your strategy for overcoming that. That would be wonderful. I'm so curious. We all learn differently, right? We all use different tricks to help us learn and sense in and memorize the decks that we're working with. So I'm always kind of fascinated by how people learn, and I'm always super curious, like what tricks and what tips you have. So if you have some to share, I would love that. All right. So this has turned into, I think, what I feel like if I get the time, I'll start working with Enchanted Map, but I'm so called to this one. I feel like this is my spring collection for me right here. I really feel like this is going to be where it's at. This is going to be what we're working with here. So yeah, I feel like I've made the decision. All right. Well, thanks for helping me talk it through. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I hope that this has maybe helped you think through the process of perhaps why it is that we add decks to our collection. What purpose do they serve when they're in our collection, right? How can we use them? How can we sense into them and figure out what their purpose is? I think this is going to be I think it's going to be a really interesting month. And I'm kind of really fascinated to see how at the end of April, how many of these decks I want to continue using through May, or if I really feel drawn to work with another deck at that time. I really absolutely feel if I'm going to work with a tarot with this deck, though, I'm 100%, I'm like, good Lord, like a bull in a china shop. This is crazy. I really feel like I want to use the Shadow edition of the Moonchild Tarot with this. Oh, this is like my moment of brilliance that just suddenly hit me. I feel like there's going to be something really lovely with these two working together. The color palettes are just going to be absolutely fabulous. Yeah. All right. Okay, so maybe we're adding this to the pile. This is Danielle Noel's Shadow edition of the Moonchild Tarot. So if you haven't seen it before, I have a flip through. I'll probably link it because I'm not going to go in depth. I feel like I'm really done. This just suddenly struck me, and I feel now I'm going to sit and play with these two as soon as I turn this camera off. All right. So if you're still here, if you want to hit that little thumbs up button, if you've enjoyed this little look at my process, if you feel called to subscribe, that would be amazing. And if you wanted a reading, I only book them through my sites. I will never message you privately to ask if you want a reading. That doesn't ever happen with me. So thank you so much for being here. I absolutely appreciate each and every one of you that chooses to watch through my videos. It's just nice to be able to actually share the level of excitement that I have for using cards within my life and in my practice as a reader. All right. I hope that you have an absolutely fabulous week and a wonderful day. Take care.